All right. Are you ready for our next caller?
Yes, I am. Let's jump in.
So we're jumping into religion, which I like when we mix it up. We've got some arguments from analogy for intelligent design. Tangelo, you're on with Richard Gilliver and Ethan. How are you?
Yes, hello, Ethan. Hello, Richard. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Doing good.
Hi, I'm Tangelo.
What do you got for
us?
us?
Actually, the first time that we have actually a talk together, right?
Okay. Yes, so it is.
And questions, and I would like just that you answer with yes or no, and then at the end you will see the moral of the story. Is that okay?
Okay. Let me just preface you by warning you that I'm not some little English wallflower who won't tear you to pieces. I'm just going to tell you that in advance. And I'm not just going to answer yes or no to a pre-done script. If you want a conversation, we will have a conversation. If you're here to preach, please go and fuck yourself. So I'll put that out there to begin with.
No, it will not be preaching whatsoever.
Good. Okay? Let's continue then with a nice conversation.
Could you speak a little louder, though? Only because the people in the audience are saying it's...
want to stop?
Can you speak a little louder, just because the audience is saying it's kind of hard to hear you?
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So my first question, does inventing a computer program and using it to store instructional assembly information require an intelligent programmer, yes or no?
What the fuck has that got to do with God, Angelo? What has that got to do with intelligent design?
Okay. Does inventing a computer program and using it to store...
No. Let's go back a step.
I didn't hear his question.
He said, does a computer program require an intelligent designer? Before we move on from that, let's ascertain what that has got to do with intelligent design from God creating people, or the universe, or the earth, or whatever it is you claim actually is.
I will come to that. If you permit to make these few questions. You answer.
Well, we don't need your few questions, do we? If you excuse me, just 1 second. We don't need your few questions because I've asked you a direct question. What has it got to do with it? We don't need to go through the whole spiel for you to tell me what it's got to do with it.
Okay. So
what relevance is a human creating a computer, Angelo? What relevance has a human being creating a computer and designing a computer got to do with a God figure creating the universe or designing the universe? What relevance has it got? Let's start there. What relevance it has to it?
Okay. Can you please just first answer that question, then I will answer yours. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay. I've asked you a clarifying question, and I would like you to answer the clarifying question. I can't answer that question until I've got the clarifying question out of the way. What relevance has it got to a God creating the universe? What is the specific relevance? What is the claim that you're making?
Okay. As soon as you answer my question, you will right away...
Angelo, I told you at the start of the... excuse me. I told you at the beginning of the call, we weren't working to a script and we were going to have a conversation, and you agreed you would do that. So what relevance has a person designing a computer got to do with a God designing the universe? What is the relevance? What's the connection?
Did I say universe?
No, you said intelligent designer, and I asked you earlier whether you meant human beings or universe.
Yes, what does anything that I want to talk with you with have to do with the universe? I didn't say universe, right?
So what is the point you're making then?
I would try to come to it if you permit. Would you permit?
I'm trying to permit. I'm asking you clarifying questions, which you seem to be avoiding.
No, I will be very clear with you if you permit that we can go through this, okay?
So
Right,
you'll
okay,
only answer clarifying questions if we go through the script you're providing. Is that what you're saying?
I will ask just one question, which I would ask you to answer with yes or no, and then I will explain and clarify why I asked that question. Is that okay?
Okay, we'll play along for your first question, yeah.
Okay. Does inventing computer programs and using them to store instructional assembly information require a programmer? Yes or no?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Same answer.
Okay. Genes together form a master DNA program. So we have a program stored in DNA, which is used to, for example...
That has got nothing to do with the clarifying question I asked you. That's just a claim you're making.
Yeah, you've
just literally come and made a claim. I asked you a clarifying question and you said you would answer it after I answered your question. I've just answered your question. You've completely avoided the clarifying question I asked you, which I promised to answer, and gone on to make a claim. I'm not interested in your claim. I want to know the clarifying answer to the question I asked.
You confirmed that in order to make a computer program, a programmer, which must be intelligent, is required. Therefore, in order to make the program which is stored in genes,
there is no computer program stored in genes.
Programmer.
Antangelo, there is no computer program stored in genes. That's just a claim. That's just a claim. Well, can you please get me? Right, no, listen, please. If you call next time I'm on the show, if Ethan's kind enough to have me back on, call next time I'm on the show and bring with you a reference to an actual computer programmer who I can look up, who will state unambiguously that a computer program is stored in genes, and get that reference so I can take it to a biologist and get them to confirm it.
I can confirm it to you right now.
I don't want you to confirm it to me because what you're doing is making
You're
claims.
a biologist, Otangelo?
What does it matter if I am a biologist or not?
I mean, I would.
You're talking about genes, and that's who studies genes.
And I don't get.
You don't need to be a biologist to know that DNA stores information.
Computer programs. I think it'd help if you're a biologist.
There's a difference between DNA and computer programs.
You right here. How the DNA computer program makes you and me. Can a set of simple instructions produce complex three-dimensional...
A computer program doesn't make me. I'm not a robot. Antangelo, this isn't Star Trek. I'm not Data. A computer program hasn't made me. I've not got some scientist, some super scientist who's gone out and made me. I'm not... Sorry, continue, please. Antangelo?
Yes?
Please continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I do just want to read the super chat from Secular Rarity real quick. Thank you. Richard Straight crushing it. And then we got one more super chat that seems... Oh, there we go. From Philip Leitch. No, deep learning creates programs and stores data without a programmer. Ironically, they are based on evolution.
Okay, the problem with that is, Ethan, that in order for you to have life, you need already DNA and information stored in DNA to make the first living thing and to start DNA replication. And that cannot be explained through evolution because evolution depends on DNA replication, which has to be first set up. And so DNA and the information stored in DNA.
Antangelo, I'm not a biologist. I've got no expertise in this area at all. But as I understand it, and I'll please anybody out there who does understand it better than me, correct me if I'm wrong. As I understand it, DNA is actually vital to evolution, and that it's part of DNA that they study to confirm evolution, as far as I understand it. And I still don't understand where the computer programming comes in.
But in order, I just explained to you that in order for you to have evolution, you need DNA replication. And in order,
Angelo, you explained nothing to me. What you did is you made a claim.
Why are you interrupting? Why are you interrupting me?
Because you're reading from the script and I'm not listening to it. I told you at the top of the call. Antangelo, please be quiet. I told you at the top of the call, I wasn't listening to bullshit from the script. And I don't know whether you didn't believe me and whether you think you can just come in and repeat these claims that are nothing but claims with absolutely nothing to back them up. I've given you a set of criteria that I'd like to, which would confirm it to me. Go and get a computer programmer, get the computer programmer to confirm that there is a computer program within DNA, and then we can take that to a biologist and get their opinion on it. You've told me that what does it matter if you're a biologist? Well, I think it's quite important if you're studying DNA. I think it's quite important. I wouldn't take my car to be fixed to a zoologist. I think an expertise in the area that you're talking about is actually quite important to get a point across, especially if you're making really wayward claims. Please continue.
What else?
I just don't get the tie. Like, I would love for you to prove any of these claims, particularly the God claim in particular. Like, what is the most compelling evidence for God?
I would say that the pattern in DNA, which is a code, is fantastic evidence because DNA stores coded information. All codes come from intelligence, and therefore DNA and the information stored in DNA has to come from an intelligence. And Richard confirmed with the first question which I asked him.
Richard confirmed, Antangelo, Richard confirmed that computer programs, as far as Antangelo, listen to me. Richard confirmed, as far as I understand it, and I'm by no means an expert, that computer programs need a programmer. It turns out that Philip Leitch has said that's different, and he probably knows more than me on the subject. So, you know, I'm quite happy to go with his intelligence, because I know Philip quite well, and he knows a lot of stuff that I don't.
And even so, computer programs aren't the same as DNA. So how do you know any of this? Because for me, it just sounds like pure speculation.
Well, I can quote you here from several science papers right away. For example,
quoting science papers doesn't prove God.
Well, the evidence is that DNA stores digital code. Codes are always set up by intelligence. Therefore,
how do you know that?
Can you send the Antangelo? Can you send the science papers to Ethan so he can pass them on to me, which say that specifically that DNA contains a digital code? I want to see those science papers.
Sure.
And Philip Leitch follow-up says, yes, not all code comes from intelligence. Deep learning demonstrates this. Therefore, there is no God.
Who does set up AI and deep learning? Computer specialists, they make these kind of things, right?
But even still, so what? That doesn't mean there's a God. You're looking at one thing and saying because there is a, quote, intelligent designer here, that means there must be an intelligent designer over here too. How do you know any of this?
Okay, Ethan, first of all, let's establish here that DNA in fact stores information. I can quote here, DNA information from digital code to analog structure.
So what?
The digital linear code.
Okay. Otangelo. So what if it stores code? I'm not a biologist, so I can't confirm or deny that. But how does, if DNA stores code, how does that prove there's a God?
Specifically digital code, because that was the claim you made.
Example.
Nope,
Okay.
Nope. It doesn't matter if I can or not. Show me how that proves there's a God.
And let me just follow on from Ethan there and just explain to you why we're having such difficulty, right? I'm going to use a really like simplified version. Here, you're saying that there's a rabbit. Here, you're saying that there's a dog. And then you're just drawing a line between them and saying it's the same thing. That's where we're getting confused, because we see no correlation between rabbit and dog
Exactly.
being the same thing. We're having difficulty with it. That's why I specifically asked you to give me evidence that can be verified with experts in the relative fields. Not just make claims. Making claims means nothing.
I can do that. I can send you very many dozens and dozens of science papers which confirm what I am saying. I can even quote them to you. There is a consensus.
I don't want you to quote them to me. I've specifically asked you to send them to Ethan so he can pass them on to me.
Stores codified information.
Ontangelo,
Okay.
Ontangelo, Ontangelo, I don't want you to tell me about them. I want you to send them to me so I can actually see them, so I can read them, so I can confirm that they're from reputable journals, so I can confirm that they've been accurately peer reviewed. That's what I want. Okay. I don't just want you to just say something.
I will send them through Messenger to Ethan. I have sent him already articles on the claim that cells are in a literal sense factories. I did send it as well to Arden of Eden, and I did not get any response whatsoever from any of the hosts. Also to another host of your show, I will send the links to you, and I expect that you get back to me and that you confirm that what I am saying is correct. That
I'm not going to confirm what you're saying is correct if it's not. Ontangelo, 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 listen to me. I'm not going to confirm it if it's not correct, Hammer. Why would I do that? If it's not correct, I'm not going to confirm that it's correct. You've just said to me, be quiet and listen to me. Listen, you've just said to me that the code, the cells, the DNA are literally factories. They are not literally factories. I come from Sheffield. It's the city of steel. We have millions and millions and millions of factories. None of them look like DNA. We have actual factories that produce things that are made by people that have a purpose, an intent behind them. This is not present in DNA. They are not literal factories. It's not the case. Send the papers. Let me review the papers. And if I see anything, if I see anything compelling in them, Ontangelo, if I see anything compelling in them, in the papers, I will respond to them. Are you listening to me?
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap this call up. Otangelo, you're going to get me that information. I'm going to pass it on to Richard. Richard's going to review. Also, please listen back to this call. Appreciate you taking the time to call in and waiting on hold. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ontangelo.
I got nothing.
I've never spoken to Ontangelo before. That was quite fun. I don't know why everybody doesn't like talking to him. It was great fun.
Yeah. I would love for him to prove God. And I know, so for those watching, we always try and be as friendly as possible, but please understand there are some people we deal with in these circles that call every show, that message us time and time again, and they just say the same things over and over. And sometimes it just makes you want to bang your head against the wall. So if we seem a little less than patient, it's just because we've sometimes been dealing with these same people for a year on end. So.
And I think that's evident by the fact that the way we've spoken to the previous callers tonight, that we're just not going out there bashing people for the sake of it. We do want nice conversations. Right. I've never spoken to Ontangelo myself before. I've seen plenty of calls with him, with people much more knowledgeable than me who've torn him to pieces. And it just never seems to learn or understand. He has a script that he wants to read from and put a certain message across. I'm not interested in that. I want honest conversations.
Like he called in and, I'm going to provide a series of questions and you answer yes and no. Like, that's not how the show works. You don't, call us, tell us we're going to, what we're going to say, how we're going to answer your questions. This is a back and forth conversation. And most importantly, you need to provide evidence for your claims, not just saying, a scientist said this or an article said this. Prove your case.